Templates provide everything you need to deploy your solution. There could be others that might just serve as a starting point for your template. Either ways, you can study these templates to learn how to best author and structure your own templates. You could start by browsing to Azure Quick Start Templates gallery to see what's available. In the gallery, you will find a number of popular and recent updated templates. These templates work with both Azure resources and other popular software packages. Let's go and look at the JSON file and specifically the Azure resource template description to understand what they actually mean. In this example, we'll look at how you can create a simple virtual machine. Now, talking about it, we have it right here. Deploy a simple Windows virtual machine. I'll click on it this time and look at the description of this particular template. Now it says that this template allows you to deploy a simple Windows virtual machine using few different options of Windows versions. This will deploy an A2 size VM. A template will have parameters and certain variables. As we spoke earlier in the parameters video, that parameters are certain values that can be input during the script execution. So when you call the script using PowerShell or using CLI, it will prompt you to type the admin username, admin password, DNS label prefix, etc. So these are parameters which will be changing every time during a VM creation, because you probably do not want the username to be same for every VM or DNS label prefix to be same for every virtual machine. Hence the author has marked these particular attributes as parameters. However, you can always hard code these parameters into the script. It is not recommended to have passwords or usernames or credentials of such matter should not be hard coded into the JSON template. If you want to look at the JSON, which is located in the following path, you can either copy this or go to the link directly, or either click on this button called as Browse on GitHub. Now if I right click and open a new tab, it will take me to a new web page which is github.com, and this is where my template is stored. Remember that you can call the JSON template directly from this URL using this particular command, which is new-az resource group deployment in a resource group called whatever, and the template URI is as follows. Or you can copy this template from this repository in your own computer and then launch it from there. In that case, you will say -template URI C drive :arm/ whatever your file name is, right? The path will just change. So this particular commandlet, which is new-az resource group deployment, will let you call a template from a URL like this or from a local file located in your machine. Going back to Azure Quick Start template for deploying a simple Windows virtual machine, you probably might want to look at what the documentation of this template says. What has the author written about it? In the case, you may directly go to readme.md, which has almost the same information, or go to azure deploy.json, which will give me concrete information about what JSON is and what are the parameters and variable passed when this JSON is called. Well, this is in HTML format, and then you can click on this raw button, which will show me in simple notepad format. I usually have a habit to open this JSON in Notepad++ because that gives a better formatting. So just in case during editing, if there are any errors, then it just shows on that line number. I will launch Notepad++ on my computer and copy this JSON into it. Okay, so here is my JSON, which will create a virtual machine for me. And right on the top where you have the schema declared, which is https://schema pointing to azure.com, and that's where all the schemas for Azure are located. starting from parameters. Looks like the parameter being used is admin username, admin password, DNS label prefix, Windows OS version. Well, these are the parameters that are passed. Now, the difference between some of them, like admin username and Windows OS version, is that admin username does not have a value. For example, there is no default value being passed. That means you will get a pop-up. In this case, Windows OS version, the default value is hard-coded in the JSON template. So this will not appear as a pop-up. That means when I call this particular template, I will get a pop-up to type the admin username and the password and the DNS label prefix, because the default value for these attributes is not specified inside this template. Well, you can definitely go ahead and hard code it by typing the values here like this and say that default value is root administrator, something like that. Yeah. Now, after you punch in the default value for a parameter, you will not get a pop-up to type or a prompt to type the admin username, right? As long as the grammar of JSON is correct. When I say grammar, I just mean these quotes, double quotes, colons, and commas must be in right places. JSON is not grammar friendly. That means you need to have these punctuations and symbols in right places. Otherwise, it just gives you an error and fails during the script execution. So we got the parameter section where you have admin username, password, DNS label prefix, and OS version and the metadata described. There are other sections where you have variables. In one of the other videos, I was talking about parameters and variables. Now, variables will be repeatedly used in the JSON. Variables defined in this JSON are storage account name, nickname, address prefix, subnet name, etc., etc., etc. Now, this can be used again and again in the script. As you see right here under resources, I'm calling this particular variable called storage account name, so I do not have to type it one more time. So the resource name here is called from a variable called as storage account name. So like I said earlier, these attributes will be picked up again and again in this script. So variables are reused in the template, whereas parameters are there to pass values during the script execution. In the next video, let's go ahead and understand how you can call this template using PowerShell.